Yo dudes, I'm back. Pleasure to be here. And I have an interesting proposition. I would like to coach somebody for PLO. If you're interested, get in contact with me. Whoa, sorry about this. I'm just starting up the stream here. There we go. So yeah, if you're interested, get in contact with me for like a few sessions of coaching. And the only requirements are that you have holdem manager or poker tracker, basically. So we can review some hands as we move forward. But as I am receiving coaching at the moment, I feel like I've learnt a lot in how to coach people as well. So I would like to share my experience to a lucky viewer. And I'm confident that I will be able to improve your game. So if you're interested, get in contact with me. Just make sure you have holdem manager, as it will be more beneficial. You know, so we can review the hands a bit easier. Okay. Right. So here we are playing 50 PLO. Open this in the small blind for sure. This hand is okay to peel on the button. Could consider free betting this dude. I don't know anything about him. He's playing on most of my tables, so that means most probably a reg. This guy leads in the big blind. This board is going to hit him a lot, so we're just going to fold. And here we raise in this small blind. We have backdoor flush draw and second pair, so we will certainly call one bet, and we can go for a value bet now. I really don't expect to get called much here. Certainly don't expect to get called much once he checks on the turn. But we have to go ahead and try to get value. And bottom left table, I'm never folding much in the big blind when the small blind raises into me. So this hand is a weak hand, obviously, but we cannot fold it. But on this board, he's going to have the range advantage for sure. So we're just going to have to fold. I've got the king of clubs, but I mean, it's not the nut blocker. And we do have a gut shot. Getting a good price, but I'm not going to give up there for sure. Not wrong with giving up sometimes. Top middle table, not a good flop to c bet on. So we just give up. Feeling good, guys. Feeling good. Feeling great. So yeah, if you're interested in coaching, like I said, make sure you've got holdem manager and let me know. So I'll either review the hands that you already have, set you some targets, and then we can have another coaching session, or can watch you play at the start, set you some targets after an hour of coaching, and then check up in a week or two's time, basically. I feel like it's a nice thing for me to do. I did try it before with somebody, but they didn't have holdem manager, and you know, I didn't really set them targets or anything, and didn't have a follow-up session, so it wasn't super beneficial. I think they learned something, but not as much as I feel like I can offer now. So it will be beneficial for sure. Certainly defend this hand in the big blind. We flop bottom set. We're going to start with a check because we're not going to have too many super strong hands here. We can consider check raising here now that we have the set. Although against the pot size bet, I really don't love it. This guy's double barreling 0% of the time. So I really expect him to have a strong hand here, especially when he bets pot. However, he still can have flush draws with, you know, king, queen of diamonds, king, jack of diamonds, aces of the diamonds. So we have to obviously get it in, but I don't love the situation there. He snap fold, so good read by me. But yeah, I have 100 hands on him. He has not double barreled yet. So one has to assume his range is strong when he pots the turn. Yeah, but that's That's the way to play that hand, I think. Can we defend here? We can defend in the small blind. We can flop a full house. Don't know anything about this guy, whether he's going to c-bet or not. We'll find out, I guess. He does c-bet. We'll go for a small raise. This is going to hit our range a lot more than his. So we can raise here with hands like 5, 6, 7, etc, etc. And we're going to 3-bet our 8, 8, 10, 10 here. We're going to go for a c-bet on this board. And then hopefully not get raised. It's quite a dry board. We don't block any spades though. Do have some backdoor draws here, which is a consideration for checking back. To, you know, hopefully hit a backdoor draw. And it does suck to get raised, but there you go. That would have been Jack of Clubs, the perfect backdoor card. But it's okay. It's okay. Let me just pull that hand up, yeah. So as I said, yeah, perfect consideration, really, for checking this hand back. But it is a dry board. Unless he has, you know, a flush draw in his hand, I don't expect him to be raising too often here. He's really not going to have too many, you know, 3, 4, 5, 6s, ace, 3, 4, etc. We block 6, 7, 8 with our 8, so he really has to be raising here with a flush draw, you know. So there's not loads of hands that are going to raise us here for value. So that's why I c-bet. But yeah, the turn was the Jack of Clubs, which would have been a beautiful turn card, if I may say so myself. Let me just see that this is okay here. I think this is alright. Yeah. Good to 3-bet this hand with this guy opening the small blind, but he doesn't. So, in my Reebok shoes, huh? Well, I'll try not to ruffle the chips. I've been away for the weekend, so I want to try opening this hand in the small blind, see how this person reacts. Seems like a tight reg, probably under defending in the big blind, so in that case we'll raise. This guy seems pretty loose today, maybe not. It's kind of hard to tell when somebody's playing on all your tables. You get a feeling that they're raising everywhere, but it's 5 different instances, you know. We can raise this hand. This guy certainly looks on the tighter side of life. And we're going to 3-bet this guy against the 12 euro stacker person. Great flop, but can't do anything but just put it here because it's like 3/4 of a pot size bet here. Gets it in with a 3 high flush draw. Worth a shot, mate. Worth a shot. I'm going to go for the bet here again on the turn against this reg. I don't expect him to fold too many kings here. It's kind of a bad bluffing hand because we block all the, well, we block some flush draws. We block, you know, a lot of the straight draws that he could be calling with. So it's whether we're just trying to get him off a king here, really. I don't, well, it's certainly not folding this hand for sure. But yeah, that's generally a bad bluffing hand because we block all the hands that we want him to have, really. You know, we want him to fold all of his flush draws with a pair, and you know, his 5, 6, 7, well, 5, 7 is actually a straight. We do have some showdown value with the 8 as well. We can beat like a ace high flush draw, queen high flush draw. So we don't really need to bluff there. And we'll go for a bluff here on the bottom middle table with a 8 of spades. Did we have? Or the queen of spades? Not entirely sure. Going to call here against the reg with queen 10 with a jack blocker. That's a pretty bad river card. We don't block any spades here, but I mean, it's just the worst river card, really. If it wasn't the jack, we'd probably call because we, you know, block the block the jack straight and we have top 2 pair. But now he just needs, you know, a king and a Broadway card, or an 8 and a Broadway card, or was it a 9 and a Broadway card? An 8 and a Broadway card. Yeah, so we kind of have to fold that river, unfortunately. We'll call this in the... I'm going to lead out here because this guy doesn't seem like he sees bets. He seems super tight. So I don't really want to give him a free card for him to realise some equity. If he just has, you know, pocket aces. I don't want to give him a deuce or an ace to hit. Etc, etc. I'm going to check back with our 9s. We're kind of giving up on the pot here. Oh wow, my headphones are actually running out of battery for the first time in a very long time. Well, first time in its whole life. Best headphones you'll ever get. Just bear with me a moment now. Top pair, backdoor nut flush draw. Top and middle pair is a great hand, if I may say so myself. Just bear with me there, mate. Still not folding top and middle pair. I mean, good or a bad river, I'm not sure. Obviously, you can have queen jack here. I like actually leading small. Let's go for a lead. Looks like we have queen jack here. But the guy's super tight. I don't expect him to bluff raise me there very often. And the bottom left table is super nutted hand. We could consider calling the 3-bet, but we're in a gross spot. So I made a tight fold, especially against a shorter stack who might end up jamming. And then, you know, you might end up getting it in, which you don't really want to do. But yeah, you wouldn't be faulted for calling. 7, 8, 10 queen, double suited to a 3-bet, but so this guy seems like a fish, if I may say so. Yeah, raise calling 6-6 queen, queen 6-10 with not a full stack. Not the best strategy, but one that people do make apparently. I'm just going to give up on this board if we do not hit it. Tempting to bet the ace, but it's a very common tendency for players just to bluff the ace when it appears as the pre-flop raiser. So we're giving up. We'll let you win this pot. It is impossible for us to win this pot unless you have deuce 3, 4, 5. You know, it's okay. And we're going to bet on the top left because we need a lot of protection. We don't mind folding our hand if we get raised. We don't block any jacks, any flush draws, anything like that. But we do have to have some bluffs sometimes with nothing, so we'll go ahead and make a bluff. Not really the best hand to do it with because we do block the 10s, which we kind of want him to have 8, 9, 10 a little bit. But sometimes you've got to pull the trigger with nothing. And we'll defend with the pocket 6s. We can 3-bet this hand for sure. And we flop nothing. Oh, down here we flop something. Alright, we're going to 3-bet here. We're going to tank here. We're going to probably check give up here. So what do we have here? Bottom pair, a wrap, and a flush draw against the donk bet. We'll go ahead and raise. Why not? We'll go ahead and raise against a small bet. We would love a fold, really. We kind of block all the flush draws, but then we block our own flush draw. But just the best way to play it, I think. Yeah, it's pretty weak to give up here when we flop nothing, but 3 ways, I think. Very likely someone's going to have a flush draw here, or at least, you know, an overpair that they're not folding, like kings, etc., etc. And 3-bet this hand. We'll check here. 2 backdoor flush draws. We 3-bet this on the button, right? Oh, go for a check. Probably can bet on this board. And we call a 3-bet here. Flop triplets. Get it all in. And probably going to fold here. I think we want to bet the flop and get raised. We have to get it in. I'm actually worried about people having, obviously, a higher flush draw than me. On the turn. Oh, we do have a jack high flush draw. It's pretty strong. Okay, I'm not folding. I thought we had the other way around, the 6 high flush draw. Well, we have a pair of 8s. Interesting. We do block the 5, 6, 7. We do block a bit of the flush draw. He's kind of repping kings. I mean, that's the only one he's repping here. Can we call with an 8 here? It's possible he's just bluffing. Certainly possible he can just be bluffing here. But we really don't want to have 5, 6 with diamonds here. Interesting, interesting, interesting. Could be a call, that hand. But it really sucks that we have 5, 6 of diamonds, because we really want him to have, you know, those kind of hands to be betting the turn and then bluffing the river. So it has to be interesting hand. Interesting hand. Yeah, certainly repping kings. I mean, if we had aces, it's a very good chance we would check the flop. So we have played our hand exactly like we would aces, really. You know, 3-betting pre, checking the flop, calling the turn. You can't really expect too many folds on the river there. Interesting hand. We flop top set and the king of spades. So we're going to go ahead and bet, bet, bet as a bluff. So if we bet 8 here, there's going to be 20... 8, 16, 24. He's going to have pot size bet left. Brilliant. I don't actually expect him to fold a flush because he looks like a fish, but it's just the sick thing about that hand is, like, we actually get value from. It's a very unique hand, this, because we actually get better hands to fold, you know, like a 10 high flush, and we actually get worse hands to call, like a set of 9s or a set of 6s. So it's a very unique hand. This is kind of weak to open under the gun. The table is pretty reggish right now. Probably not going to open this. We've got 1 fish here. Certainly helps matters. Everyone else is just pretty nitty, pretty nitty. Nice. Where are we? Pocket kings. Interesting. This guy seems certainly 6% early position raise. Do you know what? It's pretty aggressive to do this, but I think this guy's going to fold sometimes. If he just calls, this guy shoves, I can reshove. If this guy 4-bets, I can just fold my hand. So even though he's super tight under the gun range, having this short stack in there is going to change the dynamic of the hand a lot there. And cool with our double suited 8s. Seems reasonable. Nines and 3s and a 10 high flush against a fish. We'll call here, hoping to turn a heart, not the king of hearts. I mean, obviously I can turn a 9 or a 4, but without the backdoor flush draw, you can fold here on the flop. With the backdoor flush draw, it's certainly good to call. On this card, we fold as we can be getting it in dead. And we'll 3-bet the... Oh, this guy's not a fish. Well, I think I've marked the wrong thing. He looks super tight. I don't know why I've marked him as a fish. Probably end up getting it in against aces now. But I think I gave him the wrong tag. Happens. Actually, I want to mark that hand. Where was it? Yeah. I want to do some number crunching in this hand. Wouldn't be surprised if maybe we call on the river, although he really doesn't have many bluffs. So yeah, once again, if you would like to be coached by myself, the PLO Warrior, then please please let me know. We'll do this. We'll get some coaching on the way. Make sure you have holdem manager, #1 requirement. We flop bottom pair against the only fish at the table, but we'll fold here, fold everywhere. This hand here, ace king of 5-6, is maybe just make sure something here. Make sure my desktop audio is not on, otherwise that would suck. Yeah, this ace king 5-6 here is a hand that new players in Omaha would probably raise every single time under the gun, and it's a mistake. So if you're raising this hand under the gun, it's incorrect. If you're raising it in the cutoff or the button, it's fine. If you're 3-betting it in the big blind, it's very aggressive. It's probably a losing play as well, because people look at it and think, you know, I've got 2 holdem hands here, ace king suited and 5-6 suited, right? But in Omaha, you don't want to have 2 holdem hands. You want to have 1 Omaha hand. So when you've got, where's the hand? Where's the hand, yo? Do I not get to see the hand? Fuck yeah, no. What is this? I can't find it. Why can I not find it? I think it's just a bit of lag or something. Can't find it. Maybe I'll look here. There you go. I'll do it this way. So yeah, got 2 holdem hands, ace king suited and 5-6 suited. But that's not the point of having 4 cards. You want all 4 cards to be a 1 hand. You know, ace king 10 jack double suited. The 5-6 suited in Omaha is irrelevant. Having a 6 high flush draw is nothing. Having low cards is, you know, nothing. So you've basically got ace king like as a hand, really. And when you've got 4 cards, you don't really want to be sort of playing 2 of them, you know. This guy's calling me a lot of times here. We can have all the aces here. Obviously, it has a 5 when he calls the river. Oh, ace 9. Yeah, okay. That's a reasonable call. So, yeah, so 5-6 in your hand, obviously, it's not doing much for you, right? So this hand is a better hand than actually this hand, although this hand actually looks nicer. But the 5-6 is not doing much for you, right? And also another consideration is having the ace of hearts and the king of hearts. So when you flop a flush, the best hand somebody's actually going to have is the queen eye flush. So they're not going to put in as much money as when they have the king eye flush. So this hand definitely looks a lot better than it is. So for me, that's just the insta fold under the gun. But a lot of players will raise this under the gun. So ace queen 5-6 is possibly better than this hand because you allow somebody to have the king eye flush. I'm going to bet turn again. I don't expect to get raised too often here. It is a bit of a consideration that the guy is super tight. So no, that's not the river I wanted to see, obviously. However, I don't expect him to bluff with just an ace here, so I can probably comfortably check fold. However, I don't expect him to have too many ace-high flush draws because he just raises the flop, to be honest. So it's kind of a tricky hand, but I mean, yeah. I timed up here, well played. But yeah, I don't expect him to be calling with just an ace and then bluffing the river. We're going to go for a bluff here with the queens. We block a king. We kind of block ace king, jack queen. So it's a good raise against the fish. Well, maybe not a good raise against the fish, but let's go back to this hand. Yeah, I don't expect him to be calling with like ace king queen here and then just bluffing the river. But I also don't really expect him to have too many nut flush draws because he just raised the flop. Well, yeah, probably a fold. It's just the very bad. I ended up making the nuts, but we would probably not get to the river. Didn't really see how the hand went on that hand. Oh shit. Okay. Decided to bet again against the looser player. It's on the bottom middle table here with our overpair and a gut shot. Probably not the standard play, to be honest with you. Checking the flops, certainly more standard. Because we do have an overpair, top pair, and a backdoor flush draw, backdoor straight draws. So it would suck to get blown off our hand. But on the turn, yeah. I think he has a lot of weak hands. His stats indicate he's a pretty loose player. So he has to fold all his just naked flush draws there. You know, all his gut shots and things like this. This hand is a fold without the nut flush draw. How long we've been recording for? 30 minutes, seems reasonable. Could raise this under the middle position. Got some tighter players behind me and a fish in the big blind, so generally the recipe you want. But yeah, is borderline raise the middle position, but if you have a reason for making it, this hand's fine to do it. This hand is certainly a fold under the gun. Or if you have super aggressive people behind you, this hand is also a fold. Turning the big blind, flop top two, top and middle, turn the nut flush draw. So we go for a value bet once he checks the flop. etc, etc. And I'm not going to try and do anything here against this guy's lead. We have no equity to make a bluff here if we're called. So even a hand like 4-6 Queen 10 is better there because we have a gut shot. But you generally want to have a way out of the hand when you're making a bluff. Right, no chip riffling. Sorry about that. Double suited aces, my favourite kind of hand. Squeeze it. Squeeze it big time, buddy. And we're going to bet here with our pair of tens. Like, we have a weak hand. We would just love a fold right now. We're not going to do too much else. On this flop, we're just getting it in. As, you know, they shouldn't smash this board. We have a gut shot. We have a backdoor, not flush draw. So, certainly time to get it in here. And we defend in the big blind here. Could consider this is a great board to bluff on, but again, we have no real outs or backdoor draws really. At least it'd be better if we have a backdoor flush draw. We can consider raising here or leading, but you know, with nothing, generally a good idea to not bluff too often with no ways out of the hand. Ugh. Going to 3-bet this hand. We don't really want to call and give the blinds, you know, a good price on a call here, because it's, you know, a mediocre hand. But 3-betting it is, he's ended up with aces again. I'm probably going to fold with a pair in my hand. 10-10 Jack 4. Don't get me wrong, it is an aggressive 3-bet, but it's just better than calling, basically. And he looks pretty loose aggressive this session, this guy, I believe. Nah, not really. Not so much on the other tables. Just a sample issue there. But yeah, it's still better than calling there. Because we don't want to have a 10 high and a jack high flush draw 4 ways really. It's just not going to be good. King Jack deuce 4. We will call a bet, raise. Sorry, same thing. We'll go for a lead here. I don't expect him to... Well, actually I do expect him to bet the turn a lot. He c-bets the flop a lot so far, and the turn and river. So yeah, once he doesn't c-bet the flop, I think he's probably giving up on the hand. So maybe we should actually let him over-bluff the turn. Flop a king with a queen and a 9 and a backdoor hearts. Going to check the flop if it checks to me. Going to call a bet if somebody bets. as we can turn some backdoor flush draws and backdoor straight draws, etc., etc. And giving up, giving up. So yeah, that might conclude the end of the session there. What do you reckon? Keep it short and sweet, 35 minutes. I think it's a very nice amount of minutons for you guys to watch. Maybe I'll just play to the big blinds. Oh, this is already in the small blind. You can't sit out next big blind in this website, which is slightly annoying. And when you come back in from sitting out, it puts you in the big blind unless you click wait for big blind thing. You have to unclick it first, which is quite annoying. So 3 better aces here. Sit out on this one. We'll see bet here. A good board for us. So yeah, one more time. If you want to get coached by myself, I believe it will be beneficial for you if you play low stakes poly Omaha. Then get in touch with me and we will arrange something. Just make sure you have Holdem Manager and it will be my honor. And Jack Deuce 3 against a 1.9% 3 betting range is a snap fold. Snap fold, mate. I've changed my bet slider by accident here. There we go. A blind. Don't expect this guy to have too many straights here, so we could consider barreling the turn, but we do also need to have some checkbacks on a turn. I think I'm going to raise her. Get some value there. Fantastic. Maybe he did have the 4-6. It does look like he has a straight here. Yep, 4-6 with the flush draw. Yep. So against that hand, it's a great raise. Oh, we just played the big blind there by accident. But yeah, we have to raise this river against such a weak bet here. We'll peel with the top pair against the fish bag. We played the big blind again by accident. This guy's not actually c-betting the flop very often here. So it's not going to be an ideal turn situation if he bets here. Possibly he can consider folding the flop because this is kind of like a really good turn for us. But there is no turn samples, I think. Let's just see his turn bet here. There's no samples. We'll give you some money here. I'm going to block a bet the river here. I'm going to block a bet the river. I don't expect to be good very often. I get called by ace jack. Yeah, super thin here. But what are you going to do, right? Alright guys, thank you for watching and I'll see you next time.